look at this RCSD that you're gonna mark which one you are represented. Okay, you got to check mark. You just like agency disclosure, you check. Whenever the signature and initial the representative identify in the RCSD appear on this agreement or any related document, it shall be deemed to be in a representative capacity for the entity described and not in an individual capacity, unless otherwise indicated. The party action is a representative capacity. One, representative that the entity for which that party is acting already exists. Two, shall deliver to the other party and escrow holder within 3 days after acceptance. You need those documents. Who do you sign, and are you authorized to sign? If you're the manager of the LLC, okay, then you gotta have to show them, show escrow or show the other party. Evidence of authorization to act in this capacity, such as but not limited to applicable portion of the trust or certificate of a trust and probate code. So they have like, if you get a probate or letter testimonial, court order, power of attorney, corporation resolution, formation document of the business entity. So those are, required to get this representative capacity form, the extra form to sign. Okay, within the box, the landlord and tenant acknowledge that agreed broker, A, do not guarantee the condition of the premises. We are the broker. We cannot guarantee. Cannot verify representation made by other. C, cannot provide legal or tax advice. D, will not provide other advice and information that exceed the knowledge, education, or experience required to obtain a real estate license. Furthermore, if the broker are not also acting as a landlord in this agreement, broker. So sometimes the landlord could be listing agent, and it's they are the broker. Okay, so this is the only situation. If the broker are not, okay, then the will not provide any advice, information exceeding the knowledge, education, and experience. Landlord, they can do whatever they want. Okay, because they are landlord and also the principal. Then this part, yeah, because it's their own house. You know the history, okay? But broker, I don't know the history of the house. Yeah. Yes, you definitely need to disclose. Absolutely. Yes. And E, do not decide what rental rate a tenant should pay or landlord should accept it. So just like seller, the buyer asking you if they approach a listing agent, what's the seller's bottom line? I don't know. See, that's why, did you know it's like so many, lately, it seems like every time getting to a certain point, it got more and more buyer, they always like to approach, some of the buyer, they like to approach listing agent because they think they can get better deal. Technically, some of the agent or some of a seller, they may have it. For example, if you double-ended, and I have to give away 1% of the commission that we're using as the bait, okay, to tell the seller, if I get say like 6% commission, then if I double-ended, because other people, they will say 4% or 5%, then they say, why don't you give me a discount? I say, well, if you double-ended, I'll give you 1% discount. I may use that as a strategy. Later, I will teach you how to do it. But do you think I really want to double-end it? Not really. Especially if somebody offer me 4%, if you double-end it 3%, no way. I'd rather have, I would tell the buyer, go find some other agent. Or if you're not, I refer you to an agent to representing you, not me. Why? If you go mediation, then you'll know. You have higher risk to get lawsuit. when you double-ended. Especially when you double-ended, if it's under the same company, still considered dual agent. So if I really want to double-ended, I may find somebody not under RE/MAX 2000. RE/MAX Elite, that's fine. RE/MAX Premier, that's fine. Not under the same broker. Well, we're under the same ownership, but not same broker, right? Different brokerage license. It doesn't mean it's not the same owner. Okay. Or even, I can find, whoever in Kingston to work if I really, facing that situation. Yes, I will. I don't really want to double-end it. Because, I already went one-time commercial, one-time residential to mediation. Enough. I don't want to go. Really wasting my time. Okay. One time is because it's the I'm helping our coworker for the double-ended because under same RE/MAX 2000 because our brokerage teaches us that. Then we have to face it, the consequence. Then what happened? You still need to give the commission back to them because we didn't know. The other agent and the buyer doesn't know what they signed. They signed a buyer's agreement. We didn't know. Buyer didn't tell us what they signed. Oh, no, we didn't sign anything. Oh, we just signed agency disclosure. But what happened? The other agent will show us the buyer's agreement. That's it. We're dead. Yeah. Then the all commission, the other party, the buyer's commission, kind of returned back to them. To me, I didn't really get it to begin with because our coworker tried to find me as a co-op agent, so she doesn't want to double-end it. But actually, under RE/MAX 2000, we double-ended. I told them it's still dual agent though, even it's a different agent, submit the offer. But what happened is because the same buyer finding the different agent, that's why we have to carefully, review all the offer. I know you don't just look at the number, you have to look at the name. Sometime if for example, they submit the offer using husband's name and the other name is wife's name, okay, then not much you can do. Different person, different last name. I mean, I have no way to find out they are related. But if they submitted like two name, married couple, and the other offer is like one name, it could be a husband, then you gotta be careful to look. Wait a minute, same name. You gotta have to be alert. Yeah. So that's why if we did not double-end it, then okay, the buyer's agent have to deal with the agent, whoever signed in on the buyer's agreement, not deal with the listing agent. That's why because what happened is sometimes parents, they say, why don't you just deal with the listing agent? They just be smart. So they taught I don't like the other agent, and they just taught their kids and say, why don't you just approach a listing agent? But sometimes they don't know, the kids already submitted offer that they don't know what they signed because some of a buyer's agent, they are pretty bad. They just throw in the buyer's agreement with all the purchase agreement and let the buyer docu-sign, and buyer doesn't read. You sign everything, then it's done deal. Okay, so that's why if they submit it, but I mean, on the other hand, the buyer's agent is pretty sneaky. He doesn't submit the buyer's agreement. If I'm the agent, or the buyer's agent, I will submit the buyer's agreement with my purchase agreement. Why? I basically tell the listing agent, don't even think about it to touch my client. I would kind of give it the warning. Don't even think about it. See, how many listing agent, they was trying to say, if you don't go through me, you don't get this house. Did you ever see those listing agent when they do the open house tell the buyers that? Yes. Well, you can get cheaper. The worst is if you don't go through me, you cannot get this house. Is that legal? Totally illegal. Yeah, but they just say it. Are you gonna after them? Did you record it? You can't. The buyer recorded. Buyer doesn't know. But you gotta have to see the show the evidence. Then if did anybody record it? That's why. I know, but I mean sometimes. But the issue is how many buyers really want to testify. That's right. I know, I know, I know. So that's why it's really, really hard to catch those agents. Okay? And not only that, it happened to our company too, those listing agent. And it's a senior listing agent. Okay? Been there, done that. Hey. Very tricky. So that's why if you talk about a Caucasian, they actually tell us that those senior agent, if you like to stay in this career longer, try to minimize the double end deal. That makes sense. Okay. Unless you're the principal, well, that's fine. You're the owner, representing as a seller or landlord. You say whatever you want. D, do not decide what rental. Okay. EF, do not decide upon the length of other term in this agreement. Landlord and tenant agree that they will seek legal, tax, insurance, and other desired assistance from appropriate professionals. So if if the tenant want 2 years, you represented the landlord. Hey, tenant want a lease for 2 years. Why not? I'll get 2 years commission. If I could, I ask the landlord, say, look, tenant, they want to propose 2 years, and our company rule is like it's a whole term. So if they want to get 2 years, so I get entitled for 2 years commission. If the landlord said, oh, well, that's too much. Okay. Now how much? How much you want to pay? Oh, I want to pay 1 year. Okay. Now let me ask my broker. Well, actually, you decided yourself. Okay. If that's the case, I say, well, that's kind of against our rule. Then do you want to maybe just lease a tenant for 1 year first, and later on you renew with them directly? Oh. Okay. But I would say most likely the landlord, yeah, they'll pay. 2 years, 3 years term. Very rarely, they will for a long time. But some of tenant, they just want to be secure, and some of landlord, they kind of greedy. They say, oh, if 2 years later, and I mean within 2 years, I cannot increase the rent. I didn't say you cannot increase the rent. You could say first year how much and second year how much. I can state it, as other term and condition on the lease agreement. You want $50 more on the second year? Okay. Then as long as the tenant agree, it's okay. Yeah. Put it this way, whatever we put it here is a black and white. But sometimes in the reality, you have to be creative to make both parties happy, if you could. Okay? That's why we tell those buyers or seller, your gray hair is on my head. I have to think so hard every day. Your worry is on my head. You see, sometimes, I do dye my hair, but sometimes I just leave the way it is. Your gray hair is on my head. Your worry is on my head. It make me gray hair. 47. If you need an interpreter or translator, the term of the agreement has been interpreted to tenant into the following language. Technically, we cannot be the interpreter for the client, okay? But we did it. Okay, we do it, almost every time if they don't understand. But legally, you should have an interpreter or translator and sign in the separate form. Landlord and tenant acknowledge receipt of attached interpreter and translator agreement, ITA. I never use it, but legally you should. If somebody have no English whatsoever, not even a word, then you're really hard to translate. Yeah. But at least you can offer them. If you really want somebody, I'm not your translator. Could be the listing agent, or could be your tenant's agent or buyer's agent. I'm not your translator. But if you really do need the interpreter or the translator, you should hire the professional. Okay. Did you know that, when you go to the hospital, when you do the surgery, if you don't understand what doctor telling you the instruction, they do have a over phone, the translator or attorney. They did that. Okay. If you don't know what's the case, and they do have over phone a translator, professional translator over the phone, and they count by minutes, how much, or 5 minutes, I don't know. So they'll bill you. Yeah, it's not free. Sometimes like every 5 minutes is I don't know, $3 or whatever the dollar maybe. Every 5 minutes, it's not cheap. Yeah, every 5 minutes, maybe $3. Yeah, or $5. It's about cost $1 per minute. It's all like a roaming charge, when you go to a foreign country. 48. This part, if the premise is being managed by owner, or if checked. That means default, the premise is being managed by owner. But if checked, that means it's not managed by owner. So you check what? Listing firm in the box below. For example, if the RE/MAX 2000 acting as a listing firm and also a management company, then you mark the first one. Leasing firm in the box below. So it could be a leasing firm, okay? Or property management firm immediately below. So it depends on what kinds of company, what kinds of brokerage going to be managed this property. So you check whatever is proper. But if the listed managed by owner, though, you don't check anything. If it's a third party firm, then you check. Third party firm. Then not only that, this is a new one. They're coming out about half year ago, because I know a lot of listing agent, they just manage for the owner, because the owner demand, if you help me to buy this property, investment property, you have to manage for me. If somebody tell me that, I say, well, unfortunately, if you really want me to manage, I can tell you that I cannot. I can only help you to find a tenant. I cannot manage, but I can help when there's something wrong with the house. Okay? I don't collect the rent. Bottom line, I cannot touch the money, the rent. So I'm clearly also talk to the tenant. I'm not the manager, but since the owner, they're in a foreign country, I know it's hard to communicate. If anything wrong with the house, yes, you can communicate with the owner, but I still need to ask their permission before I can do any repair. But I'm just purely help, because the bottom line is the money you just cannot collect. For example, what's a management company? What they usually do? Tenant pay the money to pay the rent to management company. The managed company deducted on the service fee. Okay, then the rest of them, they put it into or mail the check to the owner. We don't do that. We tell the tenant, you deposit the money or do the online banking directly to landlord's account. I don't touch it. I do not touch it. Because we do have a property management form on the zip form. You let the tenant sign. Okay? I mean, you could manage for them as long as you establish another company. You cannot use RE/MAX 2000. Okay? It will have a bunch of lawsuits. Our broker, Kwong, is enough. He say, boy, every month I'm just attending the mediation, arbitration. Enough. How many agents we have? He say, hey, I'm attending almost every month. Yes, that many. We about total, if you really combine, 400, right? 7 offices. Yeah. I said, I get really tired. Yeah, that's why he took off for 1 month. He said business trip. Oh, we'll see. Yeah. or any leasing firm. Yeah, tenant firm, leasing firm. Listing firm is more like the landlord's listing agent. Leasing firm is more like a tenant's, their company. Yeah. But usually, if it really happen, it's a property management firm. Because they are the professional. We don't have the contractor hired under us. But property management, they have a contractor, they have attorney, they have everything. Work with them. Then the firm is supposed to have to be the brokerage. That's why you need to put a real estate broker. It could be your property manager. Their firm, the first one is their firm, the company's license number. Like our RE/MAX license number is 0126-4629. That's the firm ERE number, not the personal, not Kwang's personal. I know his license number is 009 starting, but the firm is 012. It's the same number like we do, but it's a firm DRE number, not the personal DRE number. Then by agent, whoever in charge this particular property, his license number, he has to be an agent, not anybody. It cannot be staff. No, it has to be another agent. So you only got two, okay, license number. Then what's the property management company and their telephone number? You have to state it right here. So this is actually showing something this. And so if somebody want to pay the money to whoever, it has to be brokerage. Okay, the property management cannot be any company. It has to be the real estate brokerage. Okay. Because a matter of the insurance, they have to, you know, they have the, you know, E&O insurance too. Yeah. 49. Tenant agree to rent the premises on or above terms and condition. So if one or more tenants is signing this agreement in a representative capacity and not for him or herself as an individual, see attached representative capacity signature disclosure. Tenant. They have another one, RCSD-T. So if the listing agent, they have the one, tenant, they have the one. Say for example, if you lease for the company, and company, whoever, maybe CFO, CEO, sign this lease, okay, then you gotta have to see the article. See if he or she is authorized to sign the document. Then tenant sign, okay. This one, because I put all 5 of them as the tenant. So I have additional signature addendum attached. So I'll show you later. Here, guarantee. See, I asked the tenant's agent. Say, well, whoever live in is actually the main person to sign the lease is son and wife, you know, and also the daughter-in-law. I asked them, did they want to be the guarantee, or they would just want to be part of a tenant? Because they don't live there. Okay, they live in La Puente, close enough. The property in Hacienda High, and the tenant's agent said, it's up to you. So that's why I say it's okay. I put them as a tenant, because guarantee is like if the tenant doesn't pay, somebody, you know, have to guarantee to pay the rent. But eventually, in this case, it's son and daughter-in-law, they pay the rent. Not their parents, mom and aunt and also sister. Not because their income is just not enough. Well, certainly they have a retirement income, everything, you know, Social Security, everything, and the sister has disability. I don't know what kinds of disabilities, but they still combine from government $3,900, all 3, not bad. 3,900, and those are, you don't pay tax, right? You know, from Social Security. Pure income. And this, we only rent for $2,250. They still have money to eat, everything. Not only that. son want to pay the rent. I said, cool. Then if they are the person to pay the rent, I put them as a tenant. If whoever lived there is that they are the person because the credit is not good enough, or if, for example, I lease the landlord is okay to lease a student, and I lease to 4 college students. And college student doesn't make any money, and I can only put parents as a tenant. Too many, I cannot fit in. So I put 4 students as a tenant, and parents as a guarantor, the guarantee right here. So what happened? I let all 4 students signing the last page of a lease. Now it's a page number 8. 8 pages. Used to be, a 6. The last page of the lease agreement 4 times. Why? Each time I put different guarantee. Because I can only have one name, right? I can only put one guarantor. And 4 parents, I gotta need 4 guarantor. What's that telling you? I'm dragging all parents. If anybody doesn't pay, you are responsible to pay the whole thing. 4 guarantor. Then, fine. On the other hand, why I have to drag all 4 parents? Because I know after when the house returned, most of the house got destroyed or damaged, and I need 4 people to start collecting money to pay for the damage. Sometimes security deposit is just not enough, right? And if I have guarantor, I have to guarantee a lot of things. Look at it. In consideration of execution of an agreement by and between the landlord and tenant, and for valuable consideration, receipt of which hereby acknowledge or undersigned as a guarantor, does hereby 1, guarantee unconditional to landlord and landlord's agent, successor and agent, prompt payment of a rent and other sum that become pursuing this agreement, including any or all court cost, attorney fee, including enforce of agreement. So not just a rent, because if any damage, it can be if the landlord sue the tenant. Oh, you destroy my house. You burn my whole house. Oh, what? Okay. Then they maybe, after the lawsuit, then they have the court order. The guarantor has to be followed. Okay. The court cost, attorney fee, or whatever the settlement, enforce of this agreement. 2, consent of any changes, modification, alteration, any term of this agreement agreed to by the landlord and tenant, if you really modify anything. 3, waive any right to require landlord and her landlord's agent to proceed against tenant for any default occurring under this agreement before seeking for enforce this guarantee. Guarantor mainly is guarantee the payment. Okay. So they are the secondary. If the tenant, they did not pay the rent, then you can after the guarantor. Then they sign it, and address and telephone number, email address. But how do you qualify the guarantor? Not just let them sign it. I still have to go through the application, the whole processing, their income, their credit report, their saving, the bank account, everything, just like you qualify as a tenant. I got to see if they are qualified to be a guarantor. Why? If somebody, they have a good credit, but no income, can they be a guarantor? No way. I'm not just looking at credit. You have no income or not enough income to cover the rent. Say if they have a mortgage, just like this. If I say I want to put in a guarantor, first of all, I got to see their income. And I gotta have to do the calculation, see what's their payment on mortgage, because they are not only they have to pay their own house, the mortgage, they have to, or maybe another payment, rent payment. They have to put 2 payments, the rent payment and their mortgage payment or their rent payment. They got enough money, make enough money to pay 2 payments, not just 1, their own payment. So when somebody have a misunderstanding, oh, as long as a guarantor has a good credit, that's enough. No. Because they have to guarantee the money. If they don't have enough income, if they don't have enough saving,
It cannot be a guarantor. It's just not qualified. Okay? So same thing. If you want to qualify for the guarantor, you do the same thing like you qualify applicants. Not just that they have a good credit. 50. Landlord, owner, or agent agreed to rent the premises on the above term and condition. You can check here. One or more landlord is signing this agreement is representative capacity, if not for herself, individual. See attached representative capacity signature disclosure for landlord representative, CAR. Okay, that's the for the landlord, listing landlord. Did you know that listing agent can sign a lease agreement for landlord? See that? 50. Landlord, owner or agent for owner. Agent for owner, that's what? Listing agent. I would never sign for the owner. Even I have a authority to sign. You sign it, you agree it. Anything wrong with this tenant? Who's responsible? Listing agent, you signed this lease, not me, owner. I can't take this responsibility. Okay, even I have authority to sign this lease agreement. This is something new. They never had this before, the princesses before. They had it half a year ago. Maybe for those, the owner, they are in foreigner. And they just cannot sign. Why don't you let them docu-sign? Right? At least let them docu-sign, not sign it by you. But you do have authority to sign. Then landlord's name, address. If like this one, your landlord is there in Taiwan, so the foreigner. But just put their friend's address, local address, and the phone number. The friend's phone number here. Yeah. So do email. And on the bottom, real estate broker. Real estate broker who are not able to, not also landlord under this agreement are not party of this agreement between landlord and tenant. B, agency relationship are confirmed in the paragraph 40. So you need to sign an AD, right? C, cooperating broker compensation. Listing broker agreed to pay cooperating broker listing firm. Cooperating broker agreed to accept 1, the amount specified in the MLS, provide a cooperating broker in this participating of this MLS in which the property is offered for sale or lease or a reciprocal MLS. So whatever we put on the MLS, it has to guarantee, okay, the tenant's party. If you check here, this amount is specified in separate written agreement between the listing broker and cooperating broker. This is a part if you want to issue a different CBC form. Co-op broker compensation. This is form is if you modify beside the MLS. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Then you need to, mark here and separate it. And here is the leasing firm, as you can see here. Your question. Real estate broker, they put leasing firm. So that's a tenant's firm. Okay? When you have a question, whoever is going to be the property management, here's, what you clearly. And the landlord still is a listing firm. Just like, later on, when I'm come back with the training with the purchase agreement. Now, if you look at the purchase agreement, the first page, they are no longer say listing firm or listing agent. What did I say? Seller's agent, buyer's agent. Why? It's because used to be the listing agent. It's okay, representing seller. But who representing buyer? They call selling agent. It's really confusing. What do you mean selling agent? So a lot of people are being confused. So they change the wording. Buyer's agent, seller's agent. Clear? Very simple, right? Did you ever see that? The latest purchase agreement? No? Yes?
The new agreement. Let me just, give you the, yeah, they change it. Okay, that's on December. Okay, let me just go on this deal. Let me just go ahead, kind of show you. I know, when you guys, start doing the purchase, you may say, what the heck, they changed so much. I said, yeah, it is though. Right here, see that? Seller's brokerage firm. Is that clear? Seller's agent. Clear? That's the first page now. You gotta have to disclose right away, not the last page. Here's buyer's brokerage. Clear. Buyer's agent. Clear. They don't say listing agent anymore. The new form. So I just want to tell you, a little bit different. The new form, yeah. So you listed all the brokerage, all the agent, and everybody's license number over there. Okay. That is, they adding on this section, on the 2B. And if you look at the old form, it doesn't have it. So you look at it, see this form? They revised December 2018, a few months ago. I know it's like when I go through the purchase agreement, this form hasn't come out yet. So when I come back, to starting of the session again, then definitely I will using a new form to go over with you guys. Okay, just give you the head start. If you guys there's something new, okay, that's that's what you're adding on. Okay, on this part. Rest of them, they're about the same. This is still the same. Yeah, because that's a major paragraph they added in to the listing, because the rest of them, they're all about the same. Oh no, wait, different deal. This. So we finished the lease agreement. All right. Any question? Total 8 pages. Longest ever. When I practice, that's only 6 pages. Now they got 2 pages more. Yeah. Every time they add a little. For almost 20 years, they add 2 pages. Who knows? Maybe, when another 10 years, another page, 9 pages. Because they max out. See that? Anything they added, it's going to be 9 pages. Yeah. Okay. This is something new. Bed bugs. Bed bug is like, if you, what it really looks like. I never seen it in person. All I see is, from Google search, wiki or something, on the picture, the photos. They say kind of the adult bed bug is kind of reddish. Okay. Still is probably more like a ticks, on that, pretty small. Okay. But the usually it's from outside. Could be tenant when they move their furniture, and who knows, they bring it in. But if they really have the bed bugs, it's no argument. It's a landlord responsible to clear that. Okay, if the tenant reported. Okay, we go through that. Information. Bed bug experience. Bed bugs have 6 legs. Okay, let's start teaching you. Adult bed bugs has a flat body about 1/4 of an inch in length. The color can vary from red to brown to copper color. Young bedbugs are very small. Their body are about 1/16 of an inch of length. They have almost no color. When a bedbug feeds, its blood swell, may lengthen and become bright red, sometimes making appear to a different insect. Bedbugs do not fly. They can either crawl to and carry from place to place an object, people, animal. Bedbugs can be hard to find and identify because they are tiny and try to stay hidden. So it's more like you know, ticks or anything. So you still bite you. You know, that's why they swallow our blood as their food. 2. Life cycle and reproduction. Any average bedbugs live for about 10 months. Female bedbugs lay out to 5 eggs per day. Woohoo! Bedbugs grow to full adulthood in about 21 days. 3. Bedbugs can survive for months without feeding. Ooh, that's really hard, yeah. 4. Bedbugs bite. Because bedbugs usually feed at night. Most people are bitten in their sleep and do not realize they will bitten. A person's reaction to insect bites in an immune response and so vary from person to person. Sometimes the red wells caused by the bite will not be noticed until many days after a person was bitten, if at all. So you cannot really notice it. It depends on how strong your immune system is. Number 5, common sign and symptom of the possible bedbugs infestation. Small red, reddish brown fecal spot on the mattress, box springs, bed frames, mattress lining, upholstering, and walls. Molted bedbug skin, white sticky eggs, and empty eggshell. So that means this is the bedbug is where they have to find it. It's on the bed. So you gotta have to look at your mattress. Very heavy infested area may have a characteristical sweet odor. And 4, red itchy bite mark, especially on the legs, arm, and other body parts exposed while sleeping. However, some people do not show bedbugs listen and their body, even though bedbugs may have feet of them. They just have no reaction on the body because they are so strong, some of people. For more information, see the internet website of the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the National Pest Management Association. 7, tenants should report a suspected infestation by the bedbugs, to the landlord or the property manager at the mailing or email address or phone number provided to the agreement and cooperating with any infestation for any treatment of a bedbugs. 8, landlord will notify tenant that any units inspected by the pest control operation of the finding by such an operation within 2 days of the receipt of a finding. All tenants will be notified and confirm infestation within common area. So that means once the landlord receives the notice, within 2 days, you have to take care of it. Okay, you cannot delay. Then the tenant can sue landlord. Okay, that's why between tenant and landlord always got a lot of lawsuit. But I really don't know. It's because it doesn't look like what we call 尘螨. No, it's different. 尘螨更小, even smaller. Yeah. So bed bugs. Yeah. It could be cause your make you allergic or your immune system. But this one it will bite. Yeah.
Tenant agree to release, identify, hold harmless, or forever discharge landlord and landlord's employee, agent, successor, and assign for any of the claim, liability, and cost of action of any kind of a tenant, member of tenant, household, and tenant's guest and invitee may have any time against landlord and landlord's agent result from the present and bed bugs due to the tenant's failure to comply with the bed bugs disclosure. So sometimes if their friends come over to sleep over and they got butt and they didn't sue their friend tenant, they sue landlord. Even their tenant's friend just sleep over or the tenant's guest. Okay. So eventually being a landlord in California quite vulnerable. So finding a good tenant and do the proper repair for the tenant, that's the ultimate goal. Because if you do the proper repair for tenant, usually tenant will keep on asking more trouble. But who actually asking more repair? You look at Asian, especially Chinese tenant. First of all, I don't know, it's like, because they don't know anything. They don't know how to do the repair. Or sometimes just do the lubrication by themselves, even just spread out the WD-40. They want landlord to do it. Come on. Oh, I got so many ants at home. Can you come out to spray? Well, what did I tell you before? The pest is tenant's issue. Yeah, but you're gonna have to show them. You sign a lease agreement, and the anything on the pets, okay, or insects, that's the tenant's issue. You have to maintain. I cannot guarantee the ants will not come in the house, especially during summertime when it's hot. You turn on the cold air conditioning. Don't you think ants want to come in? Yes, they want to get cooled down too. Yeah. So that's you gotta have to buy some of the landlords say that they just want to cut through the house. Oh, fine. Here's the 1 gallon. Okay, insect killer. You spread it yourself. Insect killer is pretty cheap, $10 a gallon. Give it to them. If they keep on complaining. But usually, I don't see Caucasian tenant complaining the ants. But I do see Chinese tenant complaining ants or spider. I don't know which part they don't understand. You gotta maintain, right? It's not you just stay there and you gotta asking landlord do everything. Clear? The bed bugs. Now this is also adding to the form. Tenant flood hazard disclosure. Even we don't have it here, but just preventing. I disclose it and don't after landlord or the listing broker. Basically, it's that. So we got more and more disclosure now. Information about the flood hazard tenant inform the following. 1, the property is not located in a specified flood hazard area or any area of a potential flooding. Some of the area why the potential flooding. For example, if you are living close by a dam, if the dam crack, it will have flooding, not just the natural flooding area. Sometimes a man-made lake and make as a lake, you have a potential, the flooding. For example, like Pomona, they have a huge lake, right? That's actually a man-made. See, they have a control just close to raging water area. If that dam crack, water will run through. Well, then the resident on the bottom, right? That's potential flooding area. Here, the property located if the owner knows. How the owner knows about it? Call insurance company. Is it my house in the potential flooding area? Insurance company will know. Because who's going to be doing the damage? Insurance company. So they got to know. So if the seller or the landlord doesn't know, call insurance company. I will do that. Property is deemed to be a specified flood hazard area and area of a potential flooding if any of the following sanitary apply. 1, the owner has actually
knowledge of the fact. If the owner, realize it. Or the owner has received a written notice from any public agency stated that the property is located in a special flood hazard area or an area of potential flooding. When they purchase a property, how come the owner, the buyer, why we issue the natural hazard disclosure statement? Because flood hazard, that is considered one of them. So if you are on the possible flood hazard zone area, if you look at the summary of a natural hazard disclosure statement, they will do the check mark, say mark yes. When they mark yes, then you buy an investment property, okay? Then you gotta have to pass it on, this information, to the tenant. So you mark here. So you mark, if you do the check mark right here, then landlord, you're off the liability. I did tell you, if later on for whatever the reason of flooding, don't complain. I did notice, I did disclose to a tenant, you, okay? C, the property is located in an area which is the owner's mortgage holder require the owner to carry a flood insurance. I haven't seen the mortgage company, they will require a flood insurance here, but who knows? Maybe because this form is for whole California, maybe some other area they require some of because some of the property they require. D, the owner currently carry a flood insurance. If the owner did carry flood insurance, that's fine. 2, tenant may obtain information about a hazard, including flood hazard that might affecting the property from the internet website of the Office of Emergency Service, My Hazard tool. So you can check on it as well. So if the property located in the flooding or any hazard area. 3, the owner insurance does not cover the loss in tenant's personal possession, and it is recommended that the tenants consider purchase a renter insurance with the flood insurance to issue his or her possession from loss due to fire, flood, and other risk of loss. So if you're in a flood zone, you will have to notify the tenant, not just they have to carry renter insurance, cover the fire, theft, anything, vandalism, also flood, because that's the extra cost for tenant. If the tenant, they are not agree, then that's okay, then don't rent it. Okay, so you notify the tenant, say, I gotta have to make sure you have the flood insurance, because I, as an owner, they carry, but they will not cover tenants' personal belonging. If the flood come in, all your stuff, it got wiped out, so do your car, everything, electronics, yeah. Because that's not caused by the fire. So the even renter insurance will not cover because it's caused by flood. 3 of 4. The owner is not required to provide additional information concerning the flood hazard to the property, and that is information provided pursuant to this section is deemed to inform the tenant. So we only inform, and tenant want more information. It's their responsibility to search or ask the insurance. The owner insurance, they just like the fire insurance, they cover and plus a flood insurance. Yes. Well, not double insured though, because the owner's insurance only cover the structure. Tenant's insurance cover their belonging, personal belonging. It's not really double insured. Because if the flood come out and they wipe out the whole property, okay, the insurance company will help the homeowner, okay, or investor. They build a brand new house, but they will not pay for any tenant's damage in their loss or their car. No. So that's why tenant gotta carry your own renter insurance. Yeah. Okay. So those are, for the package for the lease agreement, everything. This one is kind of repeating. If you guys, actually attending on the purchase, just for the lockbox access. if the tenant do allow us to install the lockbox, be 30 days before the lease is up, or when the landlord will want to sell the property, then we can install the lockbox. So I go through this one. I'll go through because probably you guys all know on the first half, right? Because you attended my purchase. I'll go through pretty quick here again. Disclosure regarding the access to the protection of property. Key safe lockbox is designed to hold a key to above a property. Permitted access to the interior of the property by broker, not a broker and real estate licensee who is participating to the multiple listing service. Authorized appraisal, inspector, and a company person interested in the purchasing, lease, or renting the property. This individual may take the video, photograph, and the property. Broker does not have ability to control and block the taking and to use the image by any such persons. So that means when you install the Supra lockbox, when they talk about a lockbox, usually I would suggest using the Supra lockbox, not any combo or anything else, because only the Supra lockbox can track who actually enter. You know, whoever actually, when you open the Supra lockbox, they can track who, which company, and when to get in. So I can create a report to the seller or the landlord. E, MLS rules require the key safe lockbox placed on the property to be the MLS approved access device. That's a Supra lockbox in accordance, which is the rule of MLS where the listing has been submitted. Generally, the MLS approved access device is one that is specified and authorized by the MLS. 2, where used to provide a reasonable at time access to the listing property according to the standard required by the MLS. So you can program the Supra lockbox when to show and during that period of time to show and how to show. Because if you look at the our MLS rule, when you say lockbox, they will require it's a Supra lockbox, not any combo lockbox. So if you put the combo lockbox, let me suggest you don't put lockbox on the premises. You're gonna have to see remark. You just get, because on a lockbox selecting item, they just doesn't have a combo. They only see remark. Because if you put Supra and you did not install the Supra, then who do you against with? The MLS. You're lying to the MLS. I know Supra lockbox is not cheap. I don't know how much they cost now. $150 each, give and take. Yeah, not cheap. When I bought it, you know, I'm starting with about $100. Later on, I exchanged for the new one with the Bluetooth. You know, I got an old one for the just the infrared before, and I have even a very, very old one that has been exchanged to the infrared. That's before that is I have to attach a 2 mechanism. It's like a little keypad like that. You stick it in, attached to the lockbox, so I can key in my pin. Then I can get the lock coming out. Okay, so they actually certainly before that, it ain't got no lockbox. So eventually, for the past about 20 years, the very first generation lockbox I have year or 2 years I experienced that, because that been using for a long time. Okay, and you have to synchronize your key. Used to be we have a small pouch. It's like a square one. And you got to synchronize the key because it got no wireless. At home, you have to synchronize every day. If you did not synchronize it, you bring it out, uh-oh, you can open. So that's why when we get home, put our a key. Did they call e-key before? I don't know what key. But anyway, you put the keypad on the cradle. So after midnight, they will synchronize it for the new code. Okay, that's a really good old day. Right. Just like, you know, the time we don't have a smartphone yet. Yeah. And okay, okay. And C, broker, cooperating broker, and other real estate licensee and the MLS associate broker and realtor are not insured against injury, theft, loss, vandalism, damage and other harm, and whether through the use of the key safe lockbox and other means, a broker does not maintain insurance to protect owner and other occupants. I have one seller. It's like, well, okay, they bought it in cash and they did not purchase the insurance because they did not require. Anyway, it's full. You know, the when it close of escrow, you don't need to provide insurance to the escrow because it's not financing. Okay, but when I put a listing, I keep on asking, did you insure yet? Oh, not yet. You better insure before I put on a listing for lease. Because I cannot guarantee who actually get in and fall. Make sure you insure, then I list it. No insurance, I won't list it. Got it? So if you take those property, it's a vacant property, okay? Make sure owner has insurance. If the townhouse or condo, those are hard. Why? Somebody fell in the inside the condo, they will sue landlord. But the HOA insurance would not cover anything because the HOA insurance only cover structure. But sometimes we just kind of ignore that. I say, pray hard. Nothing happened during my listing period. What can I do? Townhouse. House, I will definitely require. Okay? Because I don't want anything happen, especially during the showing period, and end up the house got burned. Gone. Then you have no insurance. Yeah. But technically, if like townhouse, even vacant property, landlord should carry some kinds of insurance to cover somebody, you know, for a fail or any theft or any vandalism damage, because that is not considered fire caused by the structure. So during maybe a month or 2 months period of the insurance, you can always ask the insurance agent, you know, give you the short-term insurance, and it's going to be, I don't think it's cost more, but at least you have peace of mind. So if you could, I was probably start practicing that when I took in the condo listing, because I don't want anybody to fail, right? D, broker recommend that owner and, if applicable, tenant and other occupant of a property maintenance insurance and take any and all possible precaution as a safeguard to protect themselves, other occupant and visitor, their property and belonging, including cash, jewelry, drugs, firearm, and other valuable located on the property. So if anything, tell them to hide it. Okay, don't expose. And paragraph 2, owner permission to use his key safe lockbox. So owner gotta be agreed first, or landlord. Owner hereby authorize the broker to use a safe lockbox if the property is tenant occupied. Owner is advised that the tenant premises may be required and is recommended. Owner acknowledge the recipient a copy of this document. So owner sign first. But when we do the listing for sale, we're only up to paragraph 2. Paragraph 3 is for, wait, not really. If you sell the property with the tenant, then as long as tenant occupy the premises, then you gotta have to enforce it. Gotta go all the way to paragraph 3. Because not only you need to ask the permission for the owner, because you got to ask the permission whoever live in the property, then it's a tenant. I'm the current tenant of this above reference property and have read the disclosure statement above. So the tenant have to be understand above paragraph 2. In addition to any authority guarantee granted in this lease and rental agreement, and I agree as follow. 1, broker may use a key safe lockbox if you authorize it. 2nd, broker may show the property as follow. Then that on this wording, that's what I created by myself.
when the broker may show the property as follow. That's assuming if the landlord or anything. If the tenant, you sell the property with the tenant, then I will not put this clause, because whenever I call, you cooperating, then set up the appointment. Okay, so I would not say anything, but I would say the broker may show the property as follow. With the set the appointment events. I would not put like, because 30 days prior of lease expired. Obviously, that's for leasing. Okay, or vacating premises. So the first half of a statement, that's for the tenant, if we want to release it again, listing. Then with the setting appointment events, the second half, basically you can apply for anything else. So for sale with the tenant, or the tenant actually, or if you relist it. And then the last one is the single family dwelling. If the broker may post it for sale, for lease, or for rent, or sold sign on the property, you need to ask permission to the tenant if you want to place any sign. Okay, it doesn't matter, condo, townhouse, or single family, because whoever lived there is tenant. Tenant, you gotta ask the tenant's permission, not seller's permission or landlord's permission. It's a tenant's permission. Check right here. Okay. Clear on this one? Lockbox. Okay. There's only one page. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we go this. Lease rental and the mall ventilation addendum. This is also very, very important for landlord. Why landlord? Because it will save a landlord a bunch of money if they have a mall down in the road in the future. And if you do not sign it, and tenant could claim, oh, that was there to begin with. Can you prove it? Because you did not sign this form. When you sign this form, when I deliver it to you, it's clean. And if the tenant is not so sure, you can hire your mall inspector and check it for you. Okay. But I had the issue before. Tenant bought it as a flip property. A totally remodeled, the whole thing. And tenant doesn't feel comfortable. They want to do the mall inspection. And landlord doesn't want to allow. Because, why? Landlord is afraid if they found that has a mole, landlord is okay to fix it. But the problem, the record's there. So landlord, he said, can I hire the mole inspector myself? So the landlord, they're Chinese, and they can hire the mole inspector Chinese without put on the record. So if they has it, they will not put on the record and just do the repair. But tenant say, no, but I cannot trust the landlords. Hire the inspection and landlord inspector. They say, if you are so sure you don't have it, why you are afraid to do it? Because I pay for it. Tenant pay for the mole inspection. And I talked to the landlord. I said, look, I'm idiot, because the tenant actually approached me directly. And then it's it looks like you're double-ended. I said, well, if you're not comfortable with the tenant, then don't lease it, because she is a Pasadena police officer. You talk about women be a police officer, they're nasty. Yeah, tough and nasty. Okay, so if it really anything wrong with it, wow, okay, because they are the law enforcement. So what happened? I got to tell the tenant, I'm sorry. The landlord just They want to do it themselves. Because they already have somebody they can count on to do the inspection. The mole inspection. They will definitely show you the, they don't want to show the report. Okay, basically, they just want to keep, if it really has it, they want to just, keep it on the table. No record, no report. But tenant cannot accept that. I say, well, unfortunately, I'm the agent. I don't want to get involved between you and landlord. But why don't you do that? If you're not comfortable with it, why don't you, let me find something else for you. Yeah. But I don't want to represent her either. If she's so picky, right? I know. So that's why landlord said, let's find someone else. Even she has a good credit, good income, everything steady, but just don't want to lease. So that's why, the landlord said, how can I turn down? I said, I didn't really let you turn down. I'm trying to make her walk away, not turn down by you. Okay? You cannot really turn down the tenant because you don't allow them to do the mole inspection, right? Then you're in trouble because everything is perfect to her. Yeah. I just cannot pick anything wrong with her on the credit, the income, the saving, everything. Just like, some of the landlord, they don't like to lease the property to attorney either. Why? They know law, right? We have that, those, landlord. But how can you turn them down? You can't. If they are perfect, almost. You cannot use, oh, your credit's not good enough. BS. Because you cannot discriminate. They know the law, fair housing law. So you gotta have to make them walk away by themselves. So that's why, as an agent, especially when you are dual agent, you gotta have to watch out what you talk carefully. Okay, so that's a true story. I had it before. So fill out everything here. Okay, and mode and ventilation notification agreement, except as may be noted at the time of the tenant's move in inspection. Tenant agreed that the premises is being delivered free and no damage of will building material or mold or a mildew contamination. If it's really checked, the premises was previously treated as an elevated level of a mold that were detected. If this house has, if the seller or the landlord know it has a mold issue before, you better check that, because you rather disclose now. Let those people, they are afraid of mold and the tenant, they walk away, or they stay. If it really has a mold, they're after you as a landlord. Okay, because if you disclose, that means I'll give you here's a certificate. Here's whoever did it. They will guarantee say no more. But if it really happened, again, it may be caused by you, maybe water leak, roof leak, whatever it may be. Okay, then don't complain. When I deliver to you, it's clear, no mold whatsoever. Okay, and you accepted the current condition before you move in. Okay. So, and tenant acknowledge that, agree that mold can grow if the premises is not properly maintained. You gotta have to make that understand. 2, moisture may accumulate inside the premises if it is not regular airs out, and especially in coastal community. For example, if the some of the bathroom doesn't have a window, and they do have a fan, right? But if tenant doesn't turn on a fan, do you think it will cause the mold? Yes. Then you cannot complain to the landlord because you did not turn on the fan. Unless fans broke down, and whose fault, whose trouble is that? Landlord. Or sometimes the tenant, they say, oh, the fan too noisy. They unplugged it from inside. Then it's not landlord's issue. So make sure you disclose that, everything. That's why this Form 4. Another thing, coastal area. I grew up in Torrance, and I know that's a coastal area right next to Redondo Beach. and I'm in the West Torrance, so it's so close though. I riding usually when after school, I riding a bike 5-10 minutes to the Redondo Beach pier, go fishing after high school, after school. Hey, I never went on the after schools, study. I go fishing. Couple hours. If I catch something, great. If I don't, that's okay. At least that's why I feel like the kids at this moment is pathetic. And they have to study so hard. Yeah. Because West Torrance High School and South Torrance High School, because Torrance have 4 high school. This high school is more like our Diamond Bar or Walnuts high school. It's top ranking. But we still play. After school, we play football, play baseball. It's all outdoor. So that's why, it really, last time I saw it on the article, it said the people grew up from 1962 to 1972 was born, okay? We may not have money, but we have happiness. When I was a kid, just like when I was in high school, the school parking lot is almost empty. How many students having a automobile? No, I don't have it until when I was 18. When I graduated, my parents, okay, you drive my old car. That's it, okay? You ain't got no car when you are in a high school year. Even I got my license at 16. No car whatsoever. You ride your bike. Bicycle, okay? Not motorbike. So that's my only transportation. But we got a lot of happiness though. Yeah. So, but the coastal area I want to mention is like my bedroom, if I don't, because I put my bed against the wall. If I don't remove, after a month to clean the wall, it will have a black mildew. And that's pretty much just a mold. Because it doesn't have enough air breathing. So usually, especially wintertime, I gotta have to put dehumidifier in my bedroom. When we going out, plug it in, turn it on. When I come out, hey, easily 2 gallons of water. Yeah, 1 to 2 gallons. Yeah, that's a lot. That's because coastal area. Wintertime, when I get home, if late, like 6 o'clock, it's still foggy already. Yeah, you cannot hardly see it in the front. Okay, and the number 4? Oh, number 1. Oh, on the bottom. Okay, now we'll finish that. Okay. So I finished that. Okay, the tenants agreed. Okay, so the mold may grow any smaller than the moisture. Tenant acknowledged and agreed the tenant has a responsible. Okay. 1, maintain the premises free of dirt, debris, and moisture that can harbor mold. So you gotta have to, educate a tenant too. Okay, they have to do the remove the debris, okay, and dirt. 2, clean any mildew and mold that appear on the appropriate cleaner design to kill mold. So if you found the restroom, maybe sometimes the ceiling or the wall have mold, you need to have to clean it up right away, not let it grow. But I mean, if you really have the mold happen in the bathroom, especially in the tile grout area, on the shower room or the tub, usually how do you know what's the most effective way to kill mold and clean the mold? Do you know how to do it? Oh, you mix with the bleach and water, okay, and put in the container. Those are spray container. You spray it on between the grout. Let it sit for 10 minutes, then brush it. It'll come out. But when you spray, make sure you wear a goggle because bleach will burn your eyes. Okay, because you sprayed it, it may bounce back. So make sure you wear a goggle. And sit for 10 minutes. Or sometimes when you clean the kitchen counter also have how do you clean the grout, right? The tile, same thing, using bleach. Don't use a pure bleach. You gotta mix with the water, okay? Too strong. Huh?
Yeah, pretty much half. Yeah. Or unless you want to buy something to clean the mold, fine. You go to Home Depot to buy another bottle. But this is cheaper way to do it. 3. Clean and dry any visible moisture, windows, wall, and other surface, including the personal property, as quickly as possible. So if you do have the mold, same thing, doesn't matter. Even personal property, clean it up right away. You don't want to make it more. Using a reasonable care and close all windows and other operation in the premises prevent water from entering the premises. But during the rainy day, try to close the window, not open the window, because if the water coming in, it may cause the mold. Sometimes you just don't notice that. Using the exhaust fan, if any, in the bathroom and kitchen while using the other facility, notify the landlord and any inoperable exhaust fan. So if the exhaust fan broke down, whose fault is that? Who's going to do the repair? Landlord. Okay. So you gotta have to warn the landlord. So some of them you cannot go so cheap, because if your fan is not working, okay, and the tenant it caused by mold, if any health issue, landlord, you gotta pay the lot. How much cost for the fan? $100 or less. Okay, well, for the material. I mean, unless you want to buy the better fan, yes, you could. A couple $100, almost hear nothing. Very quiet fan. Very, very quiet. I even have the property as a rental, because we bought it as a flip. The investment property. The fan, I have to even teach. Well, because seller taught me. The buyer doesn't know how to do it, so seller taught me they have a sensor. They will turn on automatically. Okay. Yeah. When they detect moisture, they will turn on automatically. Okay. They cost $200-300. And you cannot hear anything. You can hear very, very, but then the tenant said, "How do I know it's working?" Okay, fine. Then can you override it? Yes. You push the switch twice. They are more like a sensor. You push twice. Then make sure the fan is on, so it doesn't cause by the sensor. You push twice on the switch, and the fan will be on. When you cannot hear anything unless you stand right below the fan. You can hear very, very tiny humming sound. Humming sound. That's it. If you walk probably a couple steps away, is it on? Cannot hear anything. But when you're on the bottom, you gotta listen very carefully. Some of if you have the hearing problem, you cannot hear anything. Okay, because you basically hear the fan is turning, but it's on a very quiet and it's a pitch sound. Yeah. Just like I can hear if the TV did not turn off. Do you know the TV did not turn off, but it's because you watch internet TV, sometimes the screen is black, right? You thought it's off, but I can hear it. The TV is still on, because that's a really high frequency pitch sound. Yeah. People will say, "How do you know?" I say, "Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, I'm more like an insect." And also immediately notify the landlord of any bathroom or kitchen while using those facilities. Notify landlord of any, I'm sorry, number 6. And immediately notify landlord of any water intrusion, including but not limited roof, plumbing leak, and drips or sweating pipes. Last time I explained to you, okay, you already know rest of them if any water leak. But what do you consider they put the parenthesis on the quote here? Sweating pipe. That sounds basically it's a wording. When you see the pipe sweating, what's that? Almost start leaking. Because you see the pipe, you start sweating. How can it sweat? Well, just like human being, the pipe is sweating. So that means is has some moisture start coming up. That's a sweating. because I know a lot of them, they probably get, you know, even a new copper pipe, but I do have, because anything, the material you bought it could be defect, copper pipe or gas pipe or any pipe maybe. Sometimes they may have a so tiny, tiny hole. You cannot even detect it. And they will probably start sweating. Not exactly they, you know, burst. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, like one time it happened, you know, one of a copper pipe when it's a vacant property. When I'm selling it and the tenant, I mean the buyer's agent say, hey James, your pipe is actually burst and the water is like rushing out. I said, where's it coming from? Or inside the wall. And the pressure is so big, it just, you know, penetrate the drywall, the water coming out, coming out. Would you please? I'll tell you where's the main valve is. Shut it off. Shut it off. So when you take the listing, be careful. You know, that's why some of a listing is a vacant property. Listing agent or maybe the owner, they shut the main valve. It's not because they don't have a water. They just prevent if it's a vacant property, then if anything wrong with the pipe, because they may have a defect. You know what happened? I report a contractor, and a contractor, that pipe just replaced though. It's a defect. It's a defect copper pipe. So they have a tiny wall, tiny hole. When they bought it, they installed it no problem. But who knows? You know, that particular area is so tiny, and because of pressure, and later on, after a couple of weeks later, they push the water out. Just like, you know, when I remodel on my parents' house, I actually redo it, you know, for the furnace. Used to be a wall mount heater, and we route the gas pipe, so we do it on the central heating, because in Torrance, you don't need air conditioning system. You just don't need it for a whole year long. It's so cool. But every time when I open my closet, even it's a vacant property, I can smell gas. And I tell the contractor, whoever did it on the remote, he cannot smell it. No matter, I close the door, we try to, you know, make the smell more, okay? And he open the door, he cannot smell it. So we just have to say, well, you don't believe me. Well, I tell you, it smells gas. There's something wrong with the pipe, or because I thought the welding or whatever the connection has a problem. So he take a look. Everything is fine. Later on, we just have to call the gas company coming out, do the test. They say, very, very tiny gas do leak out. But usually human being, they cannot smell it. So everybody look at me. Yeah, I smelled it. Just like I can hear the high pitch, you know, on the any sound. Okay. So I mean, the pipe is not going to be perfect even you replace a brand new one. Sometimes it may have a defect. So those are, you gotta have to rely on the tenant report it to you, okay, or landlord. Sometimes they cannot find landlord, they will find listing agent. So that's why I don't cut my commission, is because, believe me, on the this particular tenant, they just move in, they have their own agent, but what they do minor repair, 3 items already. Who they found? Me, listing agent. He said, I left a message, you know, to the owner's friend, but she did not reply. She did not reply. But you, okay, easy to find. Yeah. So I gotta have to call the contractor or handyman to do the repair, everything. Mm-hmm. 7, immediately notify landlords overflow of a bathroom, kitchen, or the laundry facility. Sometimes, you know, people get in the tub if it overflow outside, because we don't have a drainage outside of the bathroom. It's not like in Asia. Okay, if you, because hey, it is. So I have those client. Oh, the ceiling's leak.
I say, okay. Then when we really look at it, but it's really funny. The leaking is with a straight line. Why? Somebody get into the tub and the water overflow, and that straight line is just along with the tub. You say, who is actually getting in the tub and put in so much water and it overflow? And actually, it's a flow to the bottom because the bathroom right above the dining room area. Oh, well, yeah. Then, whatever the damage may be, you tenant, you got to pay for it. Not exactly the water leak.
8. Immediately notify landlord of any significant mold growth and surface in the premises. 9. Allow landlord with appropriate notice at entering the premises to make the inspection regarding mold and ventilation. 10. Release identify harmless, hold harmless and forever discharge landlord and landlord's employee, agent, and assessor assigned for any of all claim liability caused by action of any kind. Tenant member of the tenant's household of a tenant's guest and invitee may have an any time against landlord and landlord's agent resulting from the presence mold due to tenant's failure to comply with this lease and rental mold and ventilation addendum.
So if the tenant delay and cause the mold, not only tenant, you're responsible to do all the mold clearances, not landlord, and you cannot really after the landlord. That's why this form is really, really important. Let tenants sign, because I know it's not required. I don't think it's required. Last time I keep on mentioning,
it's better off required by our company.
I didn't really check find the checklist if they added it last time I mentioned about a year ago. Because if you sign this, then
what did I say? You hold discharge landlord and landlord's
employee. We are the landlord's employee. Okay, harmless. So that's mean protecting us. If you don't sign it, they can after you and landlord. Well, this is something it's they're responsible. Tenant's responsible if they found anything on that. Okay? And you sign it. Carbon monoxide detector. This is required by law.
Installing a carbon monoxide detector and a regulation, California law. Okay, require that is July 1st, 2011. All existing single-family drilling have carbon monoxide detector installed, and that all other type of drilling units intend to the human occupier have carbon monoxide detector installed on or before January 1st, 2013, and January 1st, 2013 require apply to a duplex, lodging house, dormitory, hotel, condominium, timeshare, and apartment, among others.
So basically, carbon monoxide detector is law now for every living room. The human living on whatever the room. Okay, it could be hotel, anything.
E. Exception. The law does not apply for the drilling which does not have any of the following: a fossil fuel burning heater or appliances, a fireplace, or attached garage.
So the only exception you don't need to install. Just like last time, I deal with one of a condo in Pasadena.
They run everything electric.
Okay, so from furnace and water heater is central anyway, and and also electrical burner. So they have no gas whatsoever for the whole building. Well, besides, when they burn the water heaters, so they included. Some of a condo like Hacienda Pine, a water heater is also included, on the complex, but they have a separate room. It's not inside each unit, but each unit, everything run by electrical. So those units, they can make the exception for the carbon monoxide detector because they didn't run any fossil fuel. Okay, that means gas or coal or maybe some of the petroleum, to heat it up, the whole house. And make sure it has no fireplace. Because when you have a fireplace, yes, you still need to inspect and the carbon monoxide detector because you may burn the wood over there. Okay. But decoration fireplace, that's different. Did you see that every electrical decoration fireplace? Okay, that doesn't have the gas.
Right.
And you cannot put the wood because they have a glass, tempered glass on the front. It's just for the look.
Or any attached.
Garage, why?
If a detached garage, then you don't need it. If it's attached garage, why? Car. Our car can running in a fossil fuel. They have carbon monoxide,
from the pipe when coming out. And if you attach and you forgot to shut the engine, close the garage door, yeah, they may penetrate into the house unless it's detached garage.
The law does not apply for the drilling units owned or leased by the state of California, the region of University of California, and local government agency. Aside from those three owner type, and there is no other owner exemption from the installation required if it applies to all owner of the drilling, be there individual, banks, corporation, and the entity. There's no exemption for REO property.
So the bank-owned property, they still need to install the carbon monoxide detector. No exemption for that. Even they have no idea whatsoever. Install it. It's only $20 device.
2, disclosure of a carbon monoxide detector. The Health and Safety Code does not require the disclosure regarding the existing carbon monoxide detector in drilling. However, the seller residence 1 to 4 property who is required to complete a real estate transfer disclosure form, TDS, and the manufactured home and the mobile home transfer disclosure must be Section 2A, and the form disclose whether or not the drilling unit has a carbon monoxide detector.
Our TDS and they on the bottom, first page, they already have it, and you gotta require, to install. So if some of our sellers say, which law actually apply? Well, you show them a TDS. When you sign this form, that means you gotta have to install, okay? Because we have a seller challenge us before, and we have no way, none of a form to show them as sellers responsible. So later on, that's why they put on the first page on the bottom, that's a paragraph 2, okay, 2.2. That is for small detector and carbon monoxide detector, and need to be required, completed by the seller, because you fill this form. That means this house has to be properly installed.
3, compliance with the installation requirements. State building code required a minimum replacement carbon monoxide detector. It's an applicable property outside of each sleeping area.
Just teaching you how to, where they need to install, outside of a sleeping area. So usually it's a hallway.
And on each floor in the multiple level drilling.
So if you got 2 levels, even downstairs, have no bedroom, I would still suggest, install one in the down bedroom. That's why they require for each level. If you got 3-level townhouse, then you need 3.
And but additional and different requirement may apply depending on the local building standard and manufacturer structure. The owner who failed to install the carbon monoxide detector when required by law and continue to fail to install the detector is being given notice of a governmental agency could be liable for the fine up to $200 of each violation. I know it's cheap, but each violation only $200 if you did not install. A transfer of a property where the seller as an owner has not installed carbon monoxide detectors and when required to do by law will not be invalidated, but the seller owner could be subject to damage up to $100 plus a court cost and attorney fee.
Come on, $20 stuff.
You gotta have to make it so much hassle. If the seller insists not to install it, who pay? Listing agent or buyer's agent, just do it. You buy the
a battery operated one.
Sometimes when you get a deal for 2 of them, $32, cheap. You can find it at Home Depot. Yeah. Why argue with them? Just install it for them. And they're so cheap. Even I know by law.
Yeah. Seller, landlord, you need to install it.
Buyer and seller are each advised to consult with their own home inspector, contractor, and building department and determine an exact location and installation of a carbon monoxide detector. Buyer is advised to consult with the professional. Buyer choosing to determine
whether the property has a carbon monoxide detector installed as required by law or not, to discuss with their counsel with the potential consequence. 4, local requirement. Some local maintain their own retrofit point of a sales requirement, which may include the requirement of a carbon monoxide detector being installed prior to transfer of the property.
Do you know who actually inspect the carbon monoxide detector? Not just the general inspector, who else? Who else? Appraiser. No, appraiser. If you do not have the carbon monoxide detector, lender will not fund the loan. So appraiser have to take the photo of a carbon monoxide detectors for lender. Otherwise, they will not fund the loan. Then do you know who's paid? Seller insists not to pay. Say, do you want to close the escrow or not? Well, it's cheap enough. You pay. Ah, fine. Listing agent or buyer, just pay it. You know.
Therefore, it is important to check the local city county building and safety department and regarding point of a sale and retrofit requirement of the transferring property. Okay.
Okay, we'll stop right here. So we'll come back on the next
Tuesday for the couple more disclosure, water heater, and we're almost done with it. You know, just like water heater, MIMO, and pool, hot tub, and also I will cover the pet addendum, and also examine seller disclosure if some of tenants, their company require that. It's not our company, exempt seller, ESD. Okay, that's it. All right.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.